They told you the Europe dates were dead. They told you Travis got panicked and pulled the plug because tickets wouldn't move. That was the headline and the heat, and it hit your feed like a siren at midnight. But here's the snapback. The first receipts say there wasn't even a Europe tour to cancel, and that's exactly why the story is so messy. Look at the calendar language that's been sitting in plain sight for weeks. Reading and Leeds promoted his slot as the only European show of 2025, while his official site kept the next run focused on South Africa, India, Korea, China, Japan, and Abu Dhabi. So when a verified X post on August 27th blasted, Europe tour cancelled, low sales, the internet took that as gospel and sprinted with it. What most people didn't do is pause on the words tour and Europe and ask what, exactly, existed to be asked. By the 12-second mark, the receipts are on screen. A redacted refund email and the X post date stamp. Refunds? Yes, some fans show those. But zoom out. Refunds can happen for individual shows, production changes, or promoter decisions without an entire continental tour collapsing. The X post didn't give venues, dates, or a promoter statement. It gave a vibe, a conclusion, and a target. The difference matters if you bought a ticket, planned travel, or care about the truth. Here's why the claim found oxygen. Days earlier, Travis's festival set in the UK ended early. Fans wanted a full length, and they got about 55 minutes and 24 songs before he walked. Clips of the exit spread, frustration rose, and it primed the audience to believe the worst. If you were at Bramham Park or scrolling from your couch, the mood was already brittle. Add one viral headline about low sales, and boom, confirmation rush. But look at what official pages still showed the morning of August 27th. Fall dates outside Europe were intact. Ticketing portals still listed them as live, with the normal refund language for cancellations and postponements printed like always. If the whole European run had been real and then vanished, you'd expect a chain reaction. Venue notices, promoter emails, and mainstream outlets updating alerts. Instead, the loudest evidence was that single post and a patchwork of screenshots with no matching venue logs. So who's the hero and who's the villain in this mess? The hero is the receipt, the dull, boring, irrefutable screenshot from a tour page or a venue notice that either exists or it doesn't. The villain is the panic machine, the clout cycle that turns "I saw a refund" into entire tour canceled into "he's finished" in under an hour. I'm not telling you everything is fine. I'm telling you that conflating one with the other is how fans get whiplash. The industry context here is important. Big tours live and die on market mapping, local promoter guarantees, and production math. A festival one-off in the UK marketed as European exclusive can coexist with a separate stadium swing through Johannesburg, Delhi, or Tokyo months later. If a single European arena date existed on a hold and got dropped for soft sales, that could generate legitimate refunds for that city without proving a continent-wide catastrophe. Allegedly, some local buyers saw those emails and posted them. That's a story. It's not the same story as tour obliterated. Now, put yourself in a fan's shoes. You bought a day ticket for Leeds because the poster screamed, "Only European show." Then the set ends 30 minutes early. You're annoyed, and your timeline is furious. The next thing you see is a blue-check megaphone yelling about an Axe tour and low demand. You don't parse the difference between a festival claim and an arena itinerary. You hit share. And sharing is how this kind of rumor grows legs that sprint faster than any correction. The receipts that cut through the noise are the ones that link back to stakeholders with liability. The artist's official site, the venue's event page, the ticketing platform status for a specific show. Those entities must be precise, because imprecision costs money. When they say a date is canceled, it's canceled. When they say postponed, your ticket carries. When they say nothing, the silence isn't proof of anything, good or bad. It's just silence. And sometimes silence is a lawyer taking a breath. Here's where the narrative twisted midweek. People started to notice that the supposedly canceled run didn't have a published list of European arenas for autumn. What existed were the UK festivals in August and a non-Europe stadium string through October and November. If you read the poster copy literally, Europe wasn't a leg. Europe was that singular August weekend. So the viral claim had to morph. It shifted from "he canceled the Europe leg for low sales" to "he canceled future Europe plans the label was considering." That may be juicy. It's also impossible to verify unless a promoter, agent, or venue goes on the record. Meanwhile, the lead/reading fallout kept pouring gas on it. Fans resurfaced older context, past reschedules, the infamous Pyramids cancellation in 2023, the Auckland Shuffle in 2024. People stitched those headlines together like beads on a string and held them up as proof of a pattern. But patterns can be real and still not prove this specific claim. One canceled festival doesn't equal a demolished tour. One bad night doesn't equal a locked-in collapse. Let's talk money, because every rumor like this has a financial shadow. Low sales is a blunt weapon. It paints an artist as cold, a brand as slipping, and it pressures promoters to either deny immediately or change the plan before a narrative hardens. If a verified account shouts those words and they catch, secondary market prices can crater, sponsors can twitch, and media can prime a negative feedback loop. If the post is wrong, it's reputational harm. If the post is right, you'll see boots-on-the-ground confirmations at warp speed, venue tweets, press alerts, mass emails with refund links. The chain didn't fire like that. Audience trust is the real asset in live music. Fans aren't just buying songs, they're buying belief. Belief that the time, travel, and cash are safe. Every time a rumor like this snowballs, that belief gets dinged, even if the facts rebound later. For the artist, the smart move is boring. Put out a short, clean status line that separates festivals, arenas, and continents. For promoters, it's timestamps and ticket statuses, nothing more. For fans, it's to wait for the link that costs someone money if it's wrong. Does that mean nothing in Europe moved behind the scenes? Not necessarily. Holds get pulled, options lapse. Pencil dates evaporate when local data looks soft, or when security, production, or freight turns. That's the business. But a hold dying is not a tour, and a pencil date isn't a promise. The leap from internal adjustment to public cancellation is the leap that requires paper, email blasts, and a list of cities with refund clocks ticking. We didn't get that list. What did we get? A verified X post with a sweeping claim, a handful of refund screenshots with missing context, a weekend of anger over a shortened festival set, and official pages that still, as of the morning after, displayed the same non-Europe dates they showed before the rumor. That's not the profile of a collapsed European leg. That's the profile of a narrative trying to outrun the receipts. If you're a fan holding European hopes, this part stings. A real arena leg across the EU would have been chaos in a good way. Night trains, budget flights, sold-out domes, and that lungs-burning feeling when the bass hits and the floor shakes. Maybe that leg was on a whiteboard somewhere. Maybe it wasn't. Either way, a rumor doesn't make a route real, and a refund email doesn't make a continent disappear. The safest way to play this is to separate three things: what's confirmed, what's claimed, and what's cooking. Confirmed is what lives on official calendars, ticketing portals, and venue notices. Claimed is what lives in captions and viral posts. Cooking is what agents and promoters are whispering about in back channels, which you'll only see when it becomes confirmed. If you keep those three columns in your head, these storms get easier to navigate. Let's close the loop on the low sales grenade. If systemic demand were truly collapsing in Europe, you would see the fingerprints everywhere. Discounted pre-sales, heavy bundles, desperate local radio buys, and then a cascade of venue communications. Instead, the biggest on-record demand story for this artist in Europe is still the 2024 sellout run, with stadiums announced, expanded, and spoken for in minutes. That doesn't guarantee future heat, but it should make you suspicious when a single post tries to rewrite the graph overnight. So what happens next? Either a promoter or the artist's camp drops a line that clarifies what, if anything, in Europe is changing. Or the rumor evaporates under the weight of silence and conflicting receipts, replaced by the next outrage cycle. In both cases, fans deserve clarity and speed. The playbook is simple. When a claim this big lands, the first stakeholder to show their paperwork wins the narrative, every time. Until that happens, the anger from leads and reading will stick around, because that's a separate wound. People paid, and they wanted the full ride. Ending early is a choice that creates resentment banks, and resentment spends like cash when rumors flash. If the team wants to blunt that edge, it's not a tweet, it's a make good, a bonus set, a pop-up, something that translates apology into volume. That's not the internet's job. That's the brand's job. The most ironic part? The longer the fog drags on, the more this story shifts from Travis canceled to the internet canceled itself. If the receipts keep contradicting the claim, The verified megaphone that launched it is going to wear the L. That's how this ecosystem works now. You can trend in an hour, and you can torch your credibility in the same hour if the paper trail runs against you. Fans deserve better than chaos, and artists deserve better than drive-by pronouncements. The truth is usually slower and less dramatic, but it's also the only thing that holds. So bookmark the official pages, screenshot the venue notices, and treat every viral post like a rumor until the people who pay the refunds put it in writing. That is how you protect your wallet and your sanity. And if a real European leg shows up later this year, or next, you'll know it the boring way. Time, place, price, and a flood that looks like a flood. Not a whisper, not a panic, not a single post that tries to make everyone sprint, because the panic machine tried to destroy your trust tonight. But it missed the one thing it can outpace: receipts. In the end, that's the moral of this mess. The hero here isn't a person. It's the evidence you can point at without flinching. The villain is the rush to be first, to be loud, to be right for 10 minutes. And like every villain in every saga, it aimed to destroy the hero, but ultimately destroyed itself.